Hello and welcome to the session in which we will discuss forming an opinion on the financial statements. Matter of fact, I'm going to call this lesson Introduction to Opinion on the Financial Statements. Why? Because we are going to have a series of lectures about opinion on the financial statement. This session gives you an overview, just a big idea. All the big ideas that we will be discussing today, they will be covered repeatedly. But it's very important to start to get that structure, the base structure of what does it mean forming an opinion. Well, basically, it's the end product. At the end of an audit, as an auditor, we do all this work for one purpose only, is to form an opinion, to give our opinion about the company's financial statement. What are we giving our opinion about? Whether those financial statements are fairly presented. In what matter? In all material respect, okay, according to the appropriate financial reporting framework. So simply put, it's a report saying, assuming everything is good, that the financial statements are fairly presented in all material respect according to some financial framework. In the US, we use US GAAP. Internationally, we use IFRS. The framework could be cash basis, tax basis, some special framework, but for our purposes, we will be using US GAAP. So the opinion is the foundation, is the end product of the auditor's report. So we do all this work to come up with that piece of paper, and it represents the auditor's professional opinion based on all the audit evidence obtained. So we do all this work, test of control, substantive testing, collect evidence, talk to people, for the purpose of issuing that report about the financial statement. So in this session, I will give you an overview about, for example, what are the factors in forming this opinion. What do we look at? Let's go ahead and dive a little bit deeper. Before we proceed any further, I have a public announcement about my company, farhatlectures.com. Most students and CPA candidates struggle not because audit is too hard, but because it's taught fast and the logic behind the procedure isn't explained clearly, and everything feels disconnected. At Farhat Lectures, we break audit down step by step. We explain the why behind the standards, the logic behind the assertions, risks, procedures, evidence, so the whole process finally clicks. When the concepts connect, audit becomes clear and manageable. You stop memorizing and start understanding. Ready for auditing to make sense? Start your free trial at farhatlectures.com. There are three factors in forming an opinion. So what do we need to form an opinion? The first thing we need is, you guessed it, collecting evidence. And that's a lot of work. We call the evidence sufficient and appropriate. Don't worry, we're going to have one whole lesson about this term, sufficient and appropriate. For now, think we need good enough evidence. What's good enough? We'll talk about that later. So the auditor must collect enough reliable and relevant evidence to support their conclusion. The evidence would come from where? From procedures, confirmation, inspection, recalculation, analytical procedures, things that we do. For example, to confirm existence, to confirm that an account receivable actually exists and is real, we'll send confirmation out to customers. Or we might examine subsequent event. If they say they have a receivable, we wait maybe 15 days after year end to see if they will be receiving money for that. So that's one of the backbone of forming an opinion. I would say that's an important one. Do you have evidence to support what you are saying? You're making a claim. You're making the claim that the financial statements are fairly presented. How did you come up with that claim? You need evidence. The second factor is there shouldn't be any incorrected material misstatement. Again, that's a loaded word, material. We're going to have maybe 2 to 3 lessons about what is material, what's something material or not material. For now, material is something serious, important. That's all you need to know for now. So the auditor evaluate whether any incorrected misstatement alone by itself or a series of them, a combination of them, could significantly affect someone's use in the financial statement. If it does, it's material. I'm going to give you an example here, kind of a simple example, but I want you to keep that in mind, that materiality is more than just numbers, quantitative. There's quantitative, there's qualitative factor, and at the end of the day, it's quantitative, qualitative, and a professional judgment. So if the company overstated revenue by 20,000, they just simply accounted for some revenue prematurely and they added 20,000. And a company with a $50 million revenue, we can say that's practically immaterial. Now, if overstated by 2 million, it might be material and require an adjustment before a clean opinion is given. Now, are you saying because the 2 million is larger than 20 compared to 50 million? Of course, 2 million is more than 20,000. But look, that 20,000, we would argue later, if it's fraud, then all bets are out. But the point is, quantitatively, you can tell 20,000 is immaterial for 50 million. But don't ever think that's the only factor we would look at. The third factor we would look at is, and this is important, are the financial statement in compliance with the financial reporting framework? Remember, we said for our purposes, for my purposes, we will use United States generally accepted accounting principle. And I have this ruler here. We have to measure everything against the standard. Are we in compliance with the framework? That's the standard. The auditor checks the financial statements are prepared in accordance with GAAP. For example, inventory. If inventory is recorded at selling price, that's not correct. It has to be reported at lower of cost or market. Because if you report inventory at the selling price, you would violate GAAP. And it could lead to a modified or even a bad opinion here. Because when you report your inventory, you report it at cost. So this is a very important piece. Every piece is important. You cannot keep anyone out. But we're going to revisit this standard shortly. But when we say financial statements, what do we mean by financial statements? The financial statement is a series of financial statements, such as, not series, a list of them. Balance sheet, or sometimes called the statement of financial position, income statement, or the statement of comprehensive income, or they're together, statement of changes in equity, statement of cash flows. But that's not the only complete set of financial statements. You could have notes and disclosure. And some financial statements, they're maybe 200, 250 pages if you look at their annual reports, not because of the figures, the financial statements, because of the notes and the additional disclosure that you need to be familiar with as a CPA or as an accountant student. These elements together tell the full story of the company's financial performance and position. And when you audit, you're basically auditing this financial statement. When you are evaluating the financials, looking at the information in the financial statements, we're going to look at criteria. When forming the opinion, we evaluate whether the financial statements are according to the reporting framework, whatever that relevant reporting framework happens to be. For our purposes, it's GAAP. Well, we need to know whether the disclosures are appropriate. So one thing we look at is the financial statement must clearly describe the accounting policies used and identify the reporting framework applied. For example, the notes should specify how the depreciation is computed. Is it straight line or double declining balance? Why? Because you need to disclose this. Disclosure is important. It's not only you show me the depreciation, how did you come up with that? Appropriateness and consistency of policies. The accounting policies must be appropriate. How appropriate? According to the framework and applied consistently year after year. So if a company changes its inventory from FIFO to LIFO, it must disclose this and justify this change. Other factors we look at is reasonableness of estimate. Management often use estimates like allowance for doubtful account, warranties, many other estimates. The auditor will evaluate whether they are reasonable and supported. So if a company past bad debt experience is 2%, but they suddenly recorded 10% without any justification, well, the estimate may not be reasonable. Or it was 10 and went down to 2. Well, this is a large fluctuation. We need to know why. It could be correct. Something might be happening. For example, here you went from 2 to 10 because the economy went south. You expect less people to pay. That's a justification. As an auditor, we have to evaluate that position. Quality of financial information. The financial information should be relevant, reliable, comparable, understandable to users. How are we reporting this? Presenting sales in millions this year, but in thousands last year without explanation, reduce comparability. So we want to kind of have everything comparable from year to year. Adequate disclosure. Do they have enough disclosure? All significant transaction and event must be disclosed so the users understand their effect, not only the figures. For example, if you have a pending lawsuit, you should disclose it. Even if the outcome is uncertain, you may want to say, we are being sued. We don't know what the outcome is, but it's relevant for you to know about this. Using the proper terminology according to the GAAP, according to the framework. Titles and wording in the financial statement should be aligned with the reporting framework. Using statement of financial position instead of balance sheet might be appropriate under IFRS. United States, we might have to use balance sheet. Overall structure and presentation. The financial statement should be organized logically and clearly reflecting the fair presentation and financial position of the entity. For example, grouping short-term and long-term assets separately enhances clarity and consistency. Faithful representation. The financial statement should accurately depict what's going on, the underlying transaction and event, not just follow forms but also reflect the economic substance. So recording a sale with the right of return as revenue before the return period expire may not represent the true economic substance, because if the company can return it, the customer can return it to you, it's not really a sale through sale yet. For example, an auditor is reviewing the financial statement of ABC company. After they test the account, which we'll talk about that later, they tested revenue, receivable, everything. The auditor finds no material errors. The financial statements follows US GAAP and clearly disclose all accounting policies. Estimates are based on historical trend and reasonable. All disclosures are made. Then we can conclude the financial statements are fairly presented and we can issue a clean, unmodified, or unqualified. We'll talk about the opinion later on. Let's take a look at this multiple choice question from farhatlectures.com. The auditor of Prime Builders discovers an incorrected error that overstated assets by 100,000. Total assets are 50 million. The auditor concludes that the misstatement is not material individually or in aggregate. What should the auditor do when forming an opinion? So we found an overstatement. They are claiming more asset. What do we have to do? What opinion we should give? Well, on farhatlectures.com, what you can do is you can ask the AI, Farhat.ai, to explain this, the forming an opinion under those circumstances. Explain the topic if you would like to before answering the question. Then you can answer the question. Should we issue a qualified opinion due to material misstatement? In other words, even if you don't know what qualified is, but we're saying here because of the material misstatement, we know that unqualified is the clean opinion. So should we issue some sort of qualification because of this problem? Should we require management to correct the misstatement before issuing the report? Should we consider the misstatement immaterial and issue unmodified opinion, or withdraw from the engagement? I mean, withdrawing from the engagement, I would say that's a little bit extreme, because we could always ask them to correct, and don't worry, you'd learn about what you have to do when you have an error later on. I will take out D, okay, because it's too extreme. That's out. Now, in this situation, again, here you have to use your judgment. Issue a qualified opinion due to material misstatement. You're not really going to qualify, and we'll talk about what's qualified opinion later on. 100,000 for 50 million in asset. I don't believe that will do it. Would you require management to correct the misstatement before issuing the report? You can if you want to, but here we're concluding that it's not material individually or in aggregate. I would say under those circumstances, you would consider the misstatement immaterial, because you are told here it's not material, and issue an unmodified clean opinion. Therefore, the answer is C. I'm going to go back. The reason I posted this question here, because I want to touch upon materiality. I don't want you to think materiality is an easy concept. It's a challenging concept. Here it's easy. 100 over 50 million. How about 100 over 10 million? How about 100 over 5 million? What would you do under those circumstances? There's more factors that we have to take into account, but here I'm clearly telling you it's immaterial. Conclude that the misstatement is immaterial. That's okay. We can issue a clear opinion. Now we might ask them to correct it, but we don't have to wait until they corrected it to issue the report, because it's immaterial. Now also on Farhat Lectures, if you would like to expand on the answer choices,
explain the correct and incorrect, you could ask the AI to do that, or you could ask the AI to create a similar MCQ to this one, kind of practice another problem. What should you do? Go to Farhat lectures, practice more questions, look at more lectures, look at resources, whether you are a CPA exam candidate or an accounting student. The best investment you can make is invest in yourself. Good luck, study hard, and God